Something else that I wanted to touch upon, I might as well since I'm still sitting here in the garage at my aunt's, is the need for solitude. First of all, I'm more of an introverted person. I'm just, well, you can read upon that if you Google it. There's all kinds of information out there about introverts and extroverts and all that kind of stuff and how all that works. But basically, one thing about introverts is we need to recharge, to just be alone, to just get a break from interacting with people, just to process and rest and what have you. And the thing is, and there's another thing that kind of stresses me out and adds to my depression and anxiety, is the lack of real privacy that I get. I mean, right now I'm getting the most privacy that I get usually out here in the garage when my mother and I come and visit my aunt here, usually on weekends. Because over there at the place my mother and I are at, my door, or what's supposed to be my door, is actually just a curtain, and my sleeping area and my mother's room are like back to back, right next to each other, with just a curtain separating us. And so, and before I was living in my dad's kitchen, so I never really truly have privacy, and that really adds to my anxiety. It just makes life, for those of you who don't suffer depression or have been through it or know what it's like, it really just it zaps your motivation and your energy, and you're just like, your will to get out of bed in the morning. And because you just figure, like, why, like, for what and in my case it's because, like, what's going right in my life, because it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. It's just a never-ending shitstorm. So, another point that I wanted to touch upon, because I realize that my family and others who tell me to just snap out of the depression and whatnot, even if they're happening to go through the same thing themselves and experiencing the same things, I get that it's well-meaning. It's coming from a compassionate, loving standpoint. I understand that. I think it's probably just because, like, people, especially family, don't want to see someone else going through what they're going through. And so that they try to pick me up because they see me younger, because they're going through it themselves, and they tell me, well, no, you don't want to be like this, just snap out of it. But they don't understand that it's as real for me as it is for them. So, I mean, because, like, when other people comment on my unemployment rant videos and stuff, and telling me that they're going through the exact same thing, and that they understand what I'm going through, and that they're depressed too. Even I will, like, try to say, like, well, just hang in there, because that's really, but I don't try to be, like, unrealistically overly optimistic about it. Just have a positive attitude and put on your positive attitude face. That just doesn't fly. And you have to have a certain kind of personality for that, and we all have different personalities, different experience, different life experiences, and different ways of handling and processing things. So that's all I'm trying to say with that. But what works for one person in their situation isn't necessarily going to work for another person in their situation. Or, another thing is, even if it does, we need to arrive to that conclusion ourselves, because that's when we're truly ready. It's a very confusing and stressful, frustrating time right now, and just trying to process thoughts and put things together, it's just overwhelming. And then while so many things are happening, and having to take care of this and having to take care of that and worry about this and that, and it's just overloading for me, mentally, emotionally, and just I don't understand why people don't get why I have this need to escape in my dreams, sleeping a lot and all this and that, or being sucked into the computer, into the internet. things like that, and little forms of escapism.